everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. And I want to share with you a few things regarding the current markets and what I've been doing. And maybe this will be a help to you. Let me turn off the music as well. And that way you should be able to hear me better now. So I'm beginning with a view on Nifty right now. And I'm going to take a broad view first. And if you look here, this was January, February 2020. And we know what happened in March of 2020. So there is a huge, big drop during that time. And how much did it drop during that time? Let's take a look. If you begin with the top right here and go all the way to the bottom, we're looking at about 39% drop in a very short time. So many people would have gotten, terrified during that time. 39% drop is a big drop on most of the markets. Okay. Now, but then I want you to observe what happened from March onwards. There was a gradual, move up. Look at that move right there. From March, and then going back to the all-time high of Nifty, October 2021. So what is that? A year and a half time? How much did it go up? Let's look. Okay, let me do that a different way. Yeah, here it is. All the way there up to the all-time high. That is, let's see, where is it? Yeah, that's about 59%. Okay, about a year and a half. So anyone who would have gotten into that dump during that time, if they would have waited a little bit, it would have come right back up within a year and a half. Now, does it always happen like that? We don't know. Maybe it's not always like that, but quite often we'll see that the markets do come back. And then what happened? Once it got to the all-time high, and in October 2021, it began to tank a little bit and broke through some of the several supports, and we'll zoom in at that point and take a look at what happened here. Now, these types of things are quite important for us to recognize the movements of the markets. And one of the things that I've been stressing to many of our traders is that try not to look at your broker, Zerodha, or whatever all you're using, Upstocks, and whatever you're using. Try not to look at your brokerage account day by day. Rather, I want to encourage you to open up a TradingView account. The link is on the bottom of this video if you want to open up a free account. So, because what often happens when people look at their brokerage account like Zerodha, people look and they say, oh my, everything's in the red. Okay. And, or look, I lost this much money, this much it's down, and it's minus this, minus that, or it's in the red today, it's in the green tomorrow, so I'm happy. It's in the red the next day, so I'm sad, I'm afraid what's going to happen. This type of thing, you can control a lot of your emotional ups and downs by continuing to look at the charts instead. So try not to look at the brokerage as much as possible, and use the time to look at the charts. Okay, so we were talking about Nifty that reached the all-time high and then swung back down. So it reached the all-time high around October 2021, and then by December, see, within 2 months, it went down quite a bit, okay? But then it swung right back up. Look at that, up to June 2022, all right? And then it swung down again, up and down, up and down. You see that? See what's happening there, okay? And so it's been sideways for some time, and we don't know when it will come back up and break through the all-time high of Nifty. But in the meantime, we want to keep observing it. Usually, when this trend continues sideways for a long time, it's high time for a change. What kind of change? We don't know, right? And will it go up or down? Quite often the market does go up, but that doesn't mean that's a guarantee, right? We often find that that we would be surprised when we try to say that, okay, this is what's happening or that's what's happening, but we want to keep our trades in a careful manner, or manage our trades carefully so that we can be profitable overall. So here's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the stocks that I'm invested into right now, and so I can give you an idea of what my reasonings have been, my entry, and all of that. And so here's ITC. I had already made some profits on ITC in this move that you see, and I've already cashed in on that and gotten out, and then I entered in again. So what was my reasons for getting in? Well, several things. See, first of all, the moving averages. Here is the 200 period moving average that I'm using, like in a, I don't know, I think it's an orange line. That's a 200. And above that is the 60 period moving average in the red. And then above that is the 20 period moving average. That's blue. Above that, most of the time, is the stock price. Okay, so that's the reason that I've been getting into this for some time. But then I keep in mind that the all-time high is not very far away, which is often quite a strong resistance. And then here is another aspect. Here's a channel pattern that I noticed. See this? It's a channel pattern like this. Actually, it might be better to draw it like this, something like this, but no problem. There's a channel pattern. So it's swinging up and down, but mostly it's been going up. And during this entire time, the 20 period moving average has been above the 60, and the 60 has remained above the 200. Look at that. Nice move. All right. So what about this current trend right here? We know that in the last month or so, the world markets have been quite negative, and a lot of negative cues in the last few months. And therefore, that might be part of the reason for the Indian markets reacting. So here it is. And so it came up to this resistance. It got pushed down. And then, of course, it's below my entry right now. And I'm still holding on. And I am in ITC. I'm invested. I think my full amount is invested. I don't remember clearly. I think so. My full amount is invested in ITC right now, I think, and I'm holding on. All right, those are my reasonings there for ITC. So looking forward, what am I going to do with ITC? Well, I'm just going to wait. Look at my stop right there. See my stop loss where I have that? Now, I could move the stop loss up to here. That would be also a safe place. But I'm just holding on to the stop loss right there. And I'm looking forward to going up to the all-time high. Now all right, this is not working out. Let me correct this here. Yeah. So my possibility for loss is about 10%. And then how far can I go to the all-time high? That's a little bit over. That's also about 10%. So it's really like a 1-to-1 ratio right now, which may not be so good, but I'm observing it carefully, and I'm keeping a quite a close tab on it. And I think if it wasn't for this world markets being down, this might not have happened. But that these kinds of things are common, and so I'm staying in and holding on carefully. And what I want to do is I'm watching this trend to see if this trend is continuing. Now, if the 200, I'm sorry, if the 20-period moving average cuts below the 60, then I think I would get out of the trade. And of course, the stop would stop me out. Now, I'll go to the next one, Bank of Baroda. Bank of Baroda, I also made some profits and gotten out, like around this move, and I re-entered again. All right, I re-entered, and when I look, there's a long ways to go till the all-time high. Something else I'm observing with Bank of Baroda right now is the look at the trend line. See, it's been following this trend line during this entire time, and if you were to follow this, like from this bottom and all the way to where the price is right now, we're looking at 230% profit all the way from October 2020, which is still pretty good if you have the patience to wait that long. If not, let's say you would have picked up some of the shorter swings. Look at that. This swing right there, 133%. See, November to 2020 to March 2021. Okay, that's a big move up right there. Another one that you can look for is look at some of the other moves. They're all probably about the same. Let's see. No? Yeah. It's about 50% gain right there. Look at that. It's about 50% gain. So, these are some things that I want you to watch out and look carefully. Wait for a good swing. That you can get in on that swing. Each of these swings can be good, and you can grab that swing up, or you can enter and stay in as long as the patterns continue. All right. Now, if you're taking a longer view of a few months, then you can look at the 200-period moving average and the 20. Look at that. And you can follow that. And you can also follow this trend line. And that will also do you good if you're looking for a longer term, like 6 months to 1 year. All right. Now, you might be wondering, which one? What should I do? Well, that depends on your trading style and your what you would like to get out of it. Okay, so I cannot tell you exactly how you should do it. And some people, what they will do is they will have one account and they'll stay in for the long term for a year or two, like this, or months and months at a time. And what I often do is I like to take these swings. I look for these kinds of swings. I take about 10, 20, 30%, and I get out. That's what I do quite often. And then I, of course, have I have invested into kind of a long-term investments into dividend-paying companies that are good, strong companies. Maybe someday I'll do a video on that. Good, strong companies that pay dividends. Even if the stock market is up and down, I don't worry about those. Maybe about 10 to 20 companies, that's all. And see, some of these companies might be paying about 3 to 5, 6% dividends, and others may pay up to 10 to 15%. And but the only thing is, you want to make sure that they are good and stable companies, that they're not going to be companies that is going to shut down the next day. There will be companies that you will find that pay high dividends. And you might not even heard of those companies, but be careful. Don't just enter in only because those companies pay higher dividends. Okay, but that's not our main discussion here today. That's just to whet your appetite for some longer trend investments. We'll talk about that maybe at another time. I can do a video on that, but let me know in the comments if you're interested in something like that. Okay, so all right, back to Bank of Baroda. What am I looking for? What am I going to do now? You see my stop loss right there. Look at that. Okay, that's where my stop loss is. Now, I would not put my stop loss right here because it's too close. See, it's within that swing. I can get stopped out easily. All right, so I have my stop loss down here. And so I'm waiting to see what kind of a move there will be. Now, if this 20-period moving average crosses below the 60, then I will be concerned, and I may even get out of the trade, or I could just wait and allow it to go to this my stop. Both are possibilities, and so let's see. And then, of course, I'm hoping for a breakout and moving up further beyond this, because see, right now what's happening, there's a support and resistance level that's developing here, kind of it's kind of a short term support resistance. And if you look at the history, you'll find that it's not so short term. You'll find it much earlier. See this right there? That was also an area of resistance. And then once that resistance was crossed, it's acting as a support. Can you see this? It's not allowing it to go down below this. And if you look further in the history, you may find that again. Okay, but this one, it's been on a move up. So that's good. All right, so now it's swinging up and down between this level here. So I'm continuing to watch this. Now, what about my stop loss? I'm going to keep it strong. I will not move the stop loss down any further. Now, I could move it up. Like I said, if the 20 crosses below the 60, I will try to make a decision regarding my stop loss and move it up further. That is a possibility. And sometimes if I get to a certain level and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to take any more chances with this, I could move the stop loss further up or make it like 2% or something like that. And then where I can really, I make the possibility higher for me to get stopped out, and but then normally what you want to do is, if you have a stop loss set, stick with it. Okay. Now moving it up is not too much of a problem because you're making your losses even smaller. Remember, plan your trades and trade your plan. Plan your trades and trade your plan. Try not to change that. Okay. 99% of the time, stick to it. Stick to it unless you have very good reasons for it. Okay. So I'm looking for a breakout and out of this resistance that we see here, and I'm looking for a breakout and then to go beyond my entry. And then even if it goes beyond my entry, there is another level of resistance right there. So I'm looking forward to a breakout from there and see what happens with Bank Baroda. All right. That's my second one. And third one is Bharat Electronics, BEL. See, same thing. Here's the 200 period moving average on the bottom. Above that is the 60 period moving average. Above that is the 20 period moving average. And above that was the stock price. And then look what happened, And we know that in the last few weeks, the heavy negative market trends all over the world has pushed it down and caused the resistance here. And here also, there's my stop. I'm going to stick to that. I won't bring what I mean by this when I say I'm going to stick to that, I'm not going to bring the stop loss any lower, thinking, okay, let me just go a little further down, maybe I'll wait longer, a little further down. That I'm not going to do. Okay. But I could move the stop loss higher. Like, for example, when this 20 period moving average crosses below the 60, I may make the decision to move the stop loss higher and or just sell and get out. Okay, but let's see what happens. All right, that could be a decision I could make. But either way, the stop loss, I will not bring it down any further. I don't want to do that. Okay, I want to just stick with it. And since I've given my power of attorney to Zerodha, I don't have to worry about doing daily authorizations. But those who have not given your power of attorney, please make sure that you do your daily authorizations and keep up with that. And all right, so this is BEL. What am I looking for with BEL? I'm looking for a breakout above my entry, of course, and then break out of this support resistance level. And but for BEL, my entry is still, I have a stop right there. That was my previous, let me get out of that. The all-time high is much further up. So we have some ways to go. All right, so I'm looking for a breakout, and then how much will I look for? I don't know, 10%, 20%. Okay, how long will it take? I have no idea. It might take a month, 2 months. I don't know. Let's see. Let's wait and see. Okay, but then the important thing is you got to keep your stop loss right there. Remember, another important factor. I just told you one adage that we often shared here. Plan your trade and trade your plan. Another important thing that you want to keep in mind is that that you want to watch this carefully and set your stop at a level that is safe. Okay. You want to set your stop at a level that is safe, not too close, because you might say, oh, I don't want to lose this much money. Well, the problem is, you keep your stop loss too close, you keep getting stopped out again and again, and then it gets stopped out and you'll see the price going back up again. And that could be quite frustrating. Okay, so these are some things that I want you to keep yourself aware and look for a breakout here. And then, of course, keep in mind the patterns that you're looking for. All right. Another one is Zomato. All right. You might be wondering, what in the world are you doing with a Zomato stock? And that's also what I'm wondering. It's crazy. At that big drop way back, I entered there, and that was a horrible decision. That was not a good decision. But I stayed in all this time. It's been dead money all this time. So what I finally did, you remember, I had like 4 or 5 that were like that, and I held on, and it's all been dead money for a long time. And then finally, wherever the price was, I went ahead and set a stop loss, and I said, that's my plan now, and I'm going to trade my plan. Okay, I planned this trade now, or I replanned my trade, and I'm going to stick with that plan right now. So if this thing goes down and hits the stop loss, let it be. I'm getting out like that. But for right now, I'm observing this support level right there, and I'm just this resistance level, and I'm waiting it to break out of this resistance, and I'm observing several other levels of resistance, and I'll just hold on. And I'm fully invested in this one as well. The amount that I have for one particular stock, it is invested, and so it's down quite a bit. How far is it down? Here it is. You can see from my entry point, it is down approximately 34%, which is a huge loss. And so yeah, that's how you do. You learn from your mistakes of bad entry, bad decision, and it was not a good decision at all. When I entered, look at that, everything was looking negative, and it was just one of those crazy emotional trades that was unnecessary. And look what it cost me, and that's how it is. All right. So then I've been watching Castrol India for some time, and then I saw some huge green candles right there, like that, good moves, and which often means there's a good breakout. But and it's been a breakout from this long time resistance. Okay, it's been a breakout, and so now the question is, are we seeing a bottom here? In other words, is this see 2 or 3 bounces right here? What does that mean? People talk about what is it, head and shoulders, or whatever, all patterns that people look at. And I saw that, and I'm wondering, okay, is this support level quite strong? Once, twice, 3 times, multiple times the support has been respected. And then so I entered at this level, and I put my stop loss right here, which I think is a good place, safe place, because this has been an area of resistance for some time. And then, of course, this would be an area of support. And I could even move it further up, and it still would be fine. And then what happened after I entered? After these 1, 2, 3, 4 big candles, and then, of course, it went up a little bit and found resistance. Now, how much did I enter? I entered only with about 10%. All right, 10 to 20% of my capital that I'm intending for one trade. And I'm waiting to see what happens on Monday and Tuesday. And if what I'm going to do now is, and I have my stop loss set right there. See that? So I'm only invested in about 20% right now. So now I'm waiting to see this move above this resistance right there. That I'm observing that as a resistance. And once it goes above that resistance, see, why did I put that as a resistance? I saw that much earlier also, that approximately that level. And so once it goes above that resistance, I'm going to add to my trade maybe another 10 or 20% more. And then I'll wait a few more days to make sure that it's continuing to go up in that same direction. And I'll keep adding until I get to 100% of my of the money that I've intended for this particular trade. All right. And then a couple of things that I'm observing is Sun Pharma. All right. Sun Pharmaceuticals, I'm keeping that in mind. It was on a nice channel pattern for a long time, and it was looking good. And then, of course, it's broken down here. And I'm observing this to see what happens, because I see the 200 and the 60 and the 20. Do you see that movement right there? So I'm going to see if it's going to continue or not. All right. I might, there's not much funds left to enter there again, but then I'll see what happens. Okay. And if it continues to move up further, this might be something that I would be interested in. And I've just put that as a resistance, and I'll see if it will break out of that resistance and keep this pattern going. And then that's something I'm keeping my eyes on. All right, a couple of other things that I have my eyes on is India Cements. All right, similar patterns. Do you see that? Okay, it's been sideways for some time, and then now what's happening? Is it breaking out of this? And this negative trend in the last few weeks, you see that right there. But will it outlive that? And will it push through that? Let's observe and see. Another cement stock, ACC. All right, ACC has been doing well, and here was the all-time high, and I'm trying to see, will there be a breakout? And of course, it wasn't. It took that resistance and it went back down. Do you see that? So I've got my eyes on that and just watching it carefully. And there's a few others that I have my eyes on, but the movements are not that well. Yeah. And then, NTPC, look at that. Look at that channel pattern. Nice channel pattern for a long time. And something else that I'm observing carefully, NTPC, the all-time high is still way up there. And so these are some of the ways that that you can, keep watching several extra companies that could be possible future trades. Like, look at that. And I have several others below that I'm watching carefully. I see Great Eastern Shipping. That's another one I have my eyes on. That doesn't mean I'm going to enter into all of these, but I keep watching them and observing them. And these are, stocks that you can put on your watch list and observe them. And I'm not saying that you buy any of these, but you observe them carefully to see if these are items that would be worth your time. M&M and Kotak Mahindra was something that I was in, but it just kind of turned bad, and so I'm not. I made some losses there as well. I was already stopped out, so let me get rid of this. And so, all right, Varun Beverages. This is something else that has been looking quite interesting to me. All right, look at the movements, and it broke out of the all-time high, but then it found resistance and it pushed itself down and created a new all-time high now, and it's not really doing well. But look at the patterns though. The 20, the 60, the 200. It's keeping well with that pattern. So I've got my eyes on that and watching it carefully. Look at that move right there. Look what's happening. See that? And so these are things that you want to look for and think, wow, does this stock have any possibilities? So you put these on your watch list. And for me, as long as this pattern here is there, see the 200 and the 60 and the 20 and the stock price above that, most of the time, as long as it's there, I'll keep it in my watch list. Okay, so that's it for right now. These are the ones that I have in mind, and then the ones that I'm invested in is ITC, Bank of Baroda, BEL, Zomato, and Castrol India. These are the ones, and then I'm looking at these. Sun Pharma, Indian Cements, ACC, Hindalco, NTPC, GE Shipping, M&M, and Kotak Bank, and VBL. These are the ones that I'm not Kotak Bank so much, It's turned negative on me. So let me move Kotak Bank a little further down. Yeah, up to VBL there are ones that I'm looking very interestingly at. So any of these that I get out, these are the good possibilities I have in mind. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. So what I want to recommend is, try to stick with only maybe 2 or 3 trades at any time. Now you might see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades that I'm in right now, but I'm recommending that you stay into maybe about 3 trades. Why is that? Because for a lot of people, it's difficult to follow too many. You may not have the time, you may not have the stamina to look at that many. So I would recommend about 2 or 3 for those who are starting out. But if you're, been doing it for a few years, all right, go beyond that, that's fine, maybe up to 5 or 6, but not too many because you get scattered, okay? And then the profits, you end up getting smaller profits. And but if you stick to smaller ones, a smaller number, you can have more money invested in them, but always make sure to keep your stop losses strict and stick with it. Plan your trades and trade your plans. These are some of my updates, and I want to encourage you to be diligent. And each day, you don't really have to spend a whole lot of time. To look at just like, for example, look at the 5 that I have on my list. If I were to just look at that 5, look at how much time it actually takes me. See, all right. The first one, I look. What am I looking for? Is this pattern keeping up? All right, that's what I'm looking for. Where is my stop? It's my stop still a good level, and I'm also looking at the 20 and the 60. These are the few things that I'm looking for. All right, I did that with the ITC. Now I'm at Bank of Baroda. Look at that. Next one. Look at this. I'm looking at these 3 patterns: the 200, the 60, and the 20, and the stock price. All right, I'm observing what's going on, and then of course I'm observing the movement between the 20 and the 60, and I'm trying to see what's going on, and that's the next one. And then BEL, look at that. I look at my pattern here, the 200, 60, 20, and then price movements. I realize that the markets are, the world markets have been down, so some reactionary dip right there, but still I'm observing the 20 and the 60. I go to Zomato, and of course that was a crazy trade. It went down, and I'm observing this resistance level here. I keep my eyes there. And then, of course, here, I'll add one line here as an extra support resistance level. And so it's just swinging up and down between this level. Observe that. And then the moving average, 60 and the 20, but then 200 is way up there. I told you that's a bad trade that I had gotten into. And then Castrol, I had just gotten into a little bit. So here is my 200 on the bottom, and the 60 and the 20 are so close right there. What does that mean? Am I trying to get into a start of a trend? Yes, I am. And but I'm very careful with my stop loss and my capital management, cash management. Look at that, my money management. So what I'm doing is I've only entered 10 or 20%. I don't want to go too far into it, and because if I do get stopped out, I really lose a little bit of money. All right, and then I go back to Nifty, and here's what's going on with Nifty as well. See that? And how much time did that take? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Okay, I believe you can do this in about 5 minutes or less, and that should be fine. All right, I hope all of you are well. Have a good day. God bless you. All right.